go. Good day, listeners, and welcome to the first episode of Holy Moly Guacamole. It is a pleasure to talk to you guys today. First, I'm Donald Nimna. To introduce myself, and I'm joined by my three musketeers of Graham Bodner, Cole Bechtold, and Porter Bryant. So first order of business, I'm going to tell you who's in the hole for period 6 for prayer, and that is Graham Bodner. You're in the hole. Hopefully you have a good prayer for us. I'm dead serious. You are in the hole, so hopefully you have a good prayer for us next day.
You know it.
And now to move into that, we are moving in the tree with the fruit and stuff, featuring Graham Bodner. Take it from here, Graham.
Thanks for that, Donald. So I did Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 through verse 20. If you pull it back real quick. All right. So it talks about false prophets and who we should trust, and it uses a good example of a tree and its fruits to relate to a person and their actions. So it says, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but underneath are ravenous wolves. By their fruits you will know them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Just so. Every good tree bears good fruit, and every bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a rotten tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. So by their fruits you will know them." Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I'm just saying that basically if somebody looks looks good on the outside, that they can be bad on the inside. If they look good in the inside, they can be bad on the outside. That's basically how you say it.
And I just want to say that this is something that we can see in our modern world. Once again, we can see this when it comes to friends, to friendships, relationships. When friends are there, they think that they're going to be for you, that they think that they're going to be by your side, but no, they're just there for you to get something. They can be in relationships. When a boyfriend is there, just to get something, they just dips out. And we see this a lot in today's world.
Yeah, that's a bad tree.
That's a bad tree. Yes.
All right, Porter, you ready to jump in? Yeah, so mine is Matthew 11:30. It talks about how somebody that is like labors hard in their lifetime. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So if somebody, let's say a construction worker, basically works their full entire life and goes to church, then they're gonna have it after they die. Then they're gonna have it basically be able to rest easy and not have to work any more harder than they have to. And then basically what you put into go into church and ask about as your prayer, then basically you can get it answered. And then I don't know how to explain it, but it's
basically Jesus is able to provide comfort through hard times, and he makes a yoke. What a yoke is it is a thing that oxen wear when they're pulling a wagon, and when they pull the wagon, obviously it's a heavy wagon, right? So Jesus is able to make your life easier. You're still going to face challenges, but he's able to help you through those challenges, and he's able to make your burden lighter and make your yoke easier to pull. All those burdens and all those stresses that you have.
All right, I want to add one more thing to that. But first, I thought we were talking about some egg yolks here, scrambling them up. But I thought we were talking about some egg yolks. But another thing I want to say for yoke, when you say that the oxen are pulling the heavy wagons, and that's basically us humans having a burden on ourselves that we have to pull for our entire lives. Starting from birth, when we come out of our mother's womb, we always have a burden. We have a burden of crying too much, a burden of getting sick too often. And then going into that into our teenage years, we're going to be stressed out about going into middle school, high school, we're gonna start entering that relationship phase. Am I ever gonna get a girlfriend, or am I gonna be lonely and I can't pull girls for the rest of my life? And then you're gonna get into the junior senior part in high school. It's gonna be like, am I gonna go to college? Am I gonna enter a trade, or am I dumb enough that I can't even get into any of those things? I'm just gonna be homeless for the rest of my life. They're gonna get to our 30s and 40s where that midlife crisis hits, and they're gonna be like, I have these kids, I have a wife, I have a family, and I don't know how to take care of this. I have a burden on me. I can't pay my bills. Those are a burden that we're all gonna carry through our life. And then when you eventually become into your old age and you become a senior, that's when those burdens finally start to ease. And then eventually when you die, you're finally just gonna have all those burdens off your shoulders.
Yeah, and I just really like the example of how Jesus, he doesn't get rid of your challenges, but he helps you through them.
Right.
Okay, so then I moved into when Peter confesses to Jesus in Matthew 16. Yeah. So basically, it says, when Jesus went to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do you say the Son of Man is?" And they replied, "Some say John the Baptist." Some people thought it was John the Baptist because they think he rose from the dead. Some think it was Elijah, when Elijah was taken up to heaven in the second book of Kings. And then also Matthew mentions Jeremiah here because Matthew mentions Jeremiah throughout his whole thing. So he says some even say Jeremiah could be the Messiah. And then Jesus asks, "Who do you say that I am?" And all Peter simply says is, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And this is the first time in the Bible that a disciple has called Jesus the Messiah, and this is the first time that Jesus blesses Peter. It says, "Blessed are you, Simon Peter, because not for flesh and blood, not from the flesh and blood that Jesus has proven, but through the divine revelation that Jesus shows you'll be saved." And that shows how all it really does take is confession. And over in Luke chapter 23, when a criminal is dying on the cross with Jesus, simply what the criminal asks is, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And then Jesus says, "Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." And you would have to read it in context to figure out what the criminal was doing. But all it simply takes is confession and humility to come to Jesus. And Jesus also claims that Peter will be the rock of his church. And Petra in Greek means rock. So Peter's name is symbolically means the rock of the church, and that led Peter to be the first pope and to start the church.
I just want to add one thing. I was going to Mass on Easter Sunday over at St. James, and then the priest over there, he gave this amazing homily about how we all struggle, how we all have the same humility that Jesus went through. We sin, we do these things, and then all it takes is confession, like you said. It takes confession for us to build that bond closer to Jesus, so we can feel exactly what he went through. That's why we have the sacraments. That's why we have confession and reconciliation. That's why we have Mass on Sunday. We celebrate these sacred holidays of Christmas and Easter in the church. So from this homily, I take it that if we go to Mass on Sundays, and we also go on Christmas, Easter, Palm Sundays, and Pentecost, we'll eventually be closer to Jesus, and then we'll be given the keys to heaven. Because like you said earlier, when Jesus said that Peter is the rock of his church, in this homily, he said that all of us are on the rock. All of us are the rock of the church. The people of this religion that we call Christianity build the rock of the church from which this religion is built upon. That's all I have to say.
That was really deep.
Good job. All right, you guys have anything else to add? Don't worry about time. If you seriously have something to add.
No, I think it. I just have to agree with your explanation there.
Okay.
Part
All
of
right.
McDonald's.
All right.
Favorite restaurants in Omaha? What are we doing?
McDonald's, start your segment.
Yes, start your segment.
Oh yeah, so favorite restaurants, Coco's Fried Chicken over on
Oh yeah.
173rd and West Center in that Lakeside Plaza. Just really good. This Korean fried chicken, the flavors and everything, just combines two different cultures into one. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Any other places that you guys can think about?
We talked about
Rusty
our
Taco.
Yeah, Rusty
Oh,
Taco.
Rusty's tacos.
They have good shrimp tacos.
Shrimp tacos are fire.
Yeah, alright. Porter.
I think the Inner Rail down in Zargan has tons of food there. Basically just a food court. It's pretty good.
In a real
good
good
spot for the summer.
Yes, it is. We might head down there this summer. And then I mentioned about the yolk. Hopefully, I can get like past that stage, maybe get a girlfriend. Who knows?
Alright.
All right.
Sponsors.
So let's just thank our sponsors real quick. Go Right California Avocados, helping with the production of avocados throughout the country. And to the Mullen Foundation. This podcast would have not been possible. Let's wait for the bell. Thank you to the Mullen Foundation. This podcast would have not been possible without the support from Adam Mullen and his foundation. So thank you to the Mullen Foundation. And to the Setter Foundation, advocating for our youth about nuclear research and how we can combat nuclear research and learn more about nuclear research and radon. So that's all I have. So that's all I have to say today. That's all I have to say today. This has been the Holy Moly Guacamole podcast with Donald, Graham, Cole, and Porter. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys today. And one more thing to say, Saint Ignatius, pray for us.